is the 58th episode of CloudFocus Weekly for the last week of August. Dreamforce 11 is coming in 2011. This episode is titled Dreamforce 11 Predictions. It's an all Dreamforce episode. If you don't like Dreamforce, get out. Stop it now.
Leave now.
Leave now. CloudFocus Weekly is sponsored by Arkus, your cloud computing experts. And I'm your host, Jason Atwood. Joining me today is the co-host for the last 58 times. He's stretching,
I'm stretching.
ladies and gentlemen.
I'm stretching.
This is huge for him.
Oh, stretch.
Is this a pre-Dreamforce stretch?
Yeah, just getting warmed up.
Question is, do you have a good pair of shoes to survive for Dreamforce?
No. For those who don't know me personally,
who are about to know you more personally,
I have terrible feet. My feet are just bad, and I have bad knees. I've had knee surgeries. I'm too young to have had knee surgeries already on both knees. And we're staffing a booth, and I will have to be standing. I have made the special request that we get a stool for me. Kind of like, an old man.
It comes with the booth.
Good, because I need it. I'll be sitting.
You are the
if you come to the booth,
second youngest person in the company, right. So I'm glad to know that you will need the booth.
If you come to the Arkus booth and someone's sitting, that's me.
I've got 10 years on you, and I probably won't sit.
That's fine.
Alrighty. So we've got an all Dreamforce agenda here today.
I don't think it's all Dreamforce. There's
is.
one thing shoved in there that's not particular to Dreamforce.
Everything I see on the list, what's that last thing?
That last thing's not worth mentioning.
We're not mentioning
I don't think. But the one that's sort of the third bullet down in the wave.
Oh, yeah.
We can kick that right out now. Let's just do it now.
Let's kick it out.
No, let's not kick it out. It's worth talking about.
All right. Well, no, let's talk about agenda. So we're going to talk about Dreamforce app. We're talking about things that might be affecting Dreamforce. And we're talking about the t-shirt contest, and we're going to make Dreamforce predictions at the end.
Yeah.
So hang in for that.
Predictions are awesome.
But the first thing let's talk about is actually a little bit of it's been getting in our life, which is that one of the development environments, CS3 to be exact, has been down for days.
Since this podcast being recorded on the 26th, and it's been down since the morning of the 23rd, which that would be 3 days now.
That's a lot of days.
CS3, a sandbox environment, has been down. Trust has been updating. Trust.salesforce.com has been updating semi-periodically with updates, essentially saying, hey, this is actually a big deal. This is going to take a little while. Yesterday, they came out publicly and said it could take at least 2 more days.
Privately, we heard that was what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Not that we have connections in, but we do.
Well, privately, I told that person I would only say what was publicly available.
Oh, well, privately, now they tell what's public. We don't know what privately he told us.
Right.
Because we're not saying what he privately told us.
That's right. That's under safe harbor, like the t-shirt.
Good. Nice segue.
Very nice, right? Anyway, CS3 is still down, and it actually affected us. It impacted us because we have a client who we are developing something for, and their sandbox happened to be on CS3. Now, luckily, they were not-for-profit, and not-for-profits get 7 sandboxes, which is fantastic.
That's one of the differences that I didn't know between the enterprise and what a non-profit.
Yeah, they always say the non-profit version is somewhere between enterprise and unlimited. It's not unlimited, but it's not enterprise either, because you get the 7 sandboxes.
But it's like Enterprise Plus.
It's like Enterprise Plus. Basically, it's basically unlimited without Premier support and without mobile.
And without unlimited stuff. I mean, you can't have unlimited tabs. You can't have unlimited apps. You have more apps and more tabs?
Yeah, you can do... It's truly unlimited just without those few things. Really, it's just without mobile.
Can you put 600 objects on a page?
600 what?
600 fields on a page?
I don't know. I bet you could if you asked. Because it's probably a product now that they could enable. Anyway,
interesting.
That's diverting.
That's a rat hole.
We were developing something on CS3. Luckily for us, we use SVN. We have our code that we write backed up. Every time we write something, it's there. So we were able to quickly create a new sandbox and pop our stuff into that sandbox and continue going. But for those of you who are working in CS3 and you only have one sandbox, do not refresh that sandbox. If you refresh that sandbox, bad things might happen. So if you need to continue working, contact Salesforce support, and hopefully within fewer than 48 hours, they will get back to you and help you maybe get a new one. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but just beware. This is a little bit of a boo-boo going into Dreamforce because Mark Benioff loves to get on the stage and talk about the 99.9.
Well, this has something to do with their 99s. This does not affect their 99s at all.
It doesn't affect their production 99s, but it certainly is a boo-boo on the service.
I'm sure that if you looked at any of the contracts you sign, anywhere it says the CS environment, the test environments have 50% uptime, meaning that they don't have to keep them up at all.
It's still when you look at trust.salesforce.com and you don't see red or green checkboxes all across everything, right, and you see a red X across literally an entire row, right, for 5 or 6 columns. That's I
agree. And our clients were actually on a time crunch, and then if you were really on a time crunch, like literally, let's say you were going to launch on Thursday,
you couldn't.
Right, you could not launch it. So I mean, this is not just it's not a small boo boo. I don't think a lot of people use their sandboxes. My guess is that I'm going to put it out there: 20% of the people use sandboxes.
20% of customers.
20% of customers use sandboxes. Right. And
I mean, a lot of them don't have them.
Right, they don't have them. But even the ones that of the ones that have them, I say 20% use them. But the people who use them rely upon them. And that's the bummer.
When you really use a sandbox, that is something that they tout. Hey, you have sandbox environments. You can push things. You can do things.
A good tip that you talked about, you said SVN. So keeping your code, I don't know how you develop your code, and I'm not going to get in there and talk to you about your code, but a good practice is always to have it somewhere else, so you can push it to somewhere else, to another sandbox. Always just to have a copy. It's always in that, what should I have outside of Salesforce just in case Salesforce to go down? And that's one of the things you should have, is you should have your code somewhere else,
right,
stored somewhere else.
And if you're just configuring stuff in a sandbox, then hang tight.
Yeah, hang tight. Go configure it somewhere else. Can't be that difficult. Yeah. All right, so now all Dreamforce news.
Now let's move to Dreamforce.
I'm going to move that first item down to the bottom.
Okay.
And I'm going to talk about the Dreamforce app, which was launched. So
the Dreamforce
mobile app. Mobile portal app, whatever. I know there's a thing because the Dreamforce app, the one that you log into, which is
the web
Salesforce.
App. I like to call it the web app.
I like to call it a portal because that's what it is, but they don't like to call it a portal. They want to call it an app. So it's an app. Fine. That's been out for a while. And they've been promising the revamp of the Dreamforce mobile app, which is the one that was developed by a third party. And they released it, and it came out, I think, 2-3 days ago. I know we all downloaded it immediately.
Yeah, I think it came out 2 days ago.
So we've been testing it and playing with it. What are your thoughts? I mean, if you haven't gotten it, go get it.
I have
you should
it.
have it.
I have it on my.
I mean, for everybody else.
Oh, okay. I was about to say.
I know you have it.
I downloaded it on my iPhone, and what I love is now those things that work for the iPad just show up on my iPad. So I downloaded it for both with one shot.
Still
love that. Feature, just love it. I like the iPad version better. There's some quirkiness about it, like some of the things obviously I'm on iOS devices, but I hate when developers forget, like when I click the top, have the thing scroll back to the top.
Right.
They just forgot that. There's also things about it that, you load, this particularly on the iPhone, it loads a little slower. Like you jump into like the comments thread of a chatter post, and then you go back, and it brings you right all the way back to the top, so you sort of lose your place in your feed.
Yep.
But other than that, those are nitpicky type things. This is so much better than last year's app. It's not even funny.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit what you can do. There's a chatter version in it. You can see sessions. You can see your calendar. There's maps. There's groups. There's a lot of stuff.
There's sponsors. You could find Arkus in there if you'd like.
Yep, we are there. We have an NA.
We are there. It says NA, but when you click it, it does open our website inside of the app.
Yeah, my favorite part is that, that you can see us inside that, so you kind of have and I took a screenshot. Maybe I'll post it to Twitter or something. But that's kind of fun. I think I'm gonna irk a lot of people. I don't like this app at all.
Really?
It's crappy.
Really?
It's not built like a real app. It's built like sort of like a website gone bad. Like having navigation on both sides, not needed.
Well, it's not on both sides if you rotate it.
No, but when I'm looking at it this way, it's on both sides. It just doesn't feel like a native iPhone app. It feels like if I showed you this quickly and said, "Hey, look at this website," you'd be like, "Oh yeah, look at that website." It doesn't look like or feel like an app. It doesn't have any of the.
It feels like an app. It totally does.
Well,
like
hold on, let me talk.
Sorry, go ahead.
It doesn't have any of the depth of the buttons. It doesn't have any look or feel of lists that most apps have, meaning when you go to iPad apps, they feel and look like apps. Things like have different icons are similar. They look clickable. This looks very flat to me. It doesn't have any depth. And the Chatter implementation, compared to what the Chatter app looks like, the real Chatter app, it's crappy. The links are kind of all over the place. It's really, really slow. The like link is over on the corner. It's like it's not designed well. It's just not designed well. I know it looks pretty, and I love the Dreamforce thing, but it kind of reminds me of last year's app. Is that some third party came in, is using an API, and kind of went out and they kind of offshored it to somebody, and they said, okay, build it. I'm sure someone internally approved it, but it just doesn't feel so. My example was, this is what I opened up. I said, this is the app that I want, and I'm now holding up my iPad with Chatter. This app, notice how it feels and looks like a regular iPad app. How the icons along the top, how there's list views, like all this feels like an app. This feels like a real iPad app. That other one doesn't. It feels like a website built inside of a thing. So again, maybe I'm a outlier. Is it better than last year? Oh yeah, much better than last year. Is it what I was expecting? No, I was actually expecting them to I was kind of expecting them to take the Chatter app and kind of Dreamforceify it, and I would have been much, much happier with that. If they just took this, and I'm again pointing to the iPad Chatter app and saying they just took this and put in a couple more features that were Dreamforce run, because you basically follow everything, you have your thing. This would have made me much, much happier. But anyway, they didn't. They've had this third party do it, and I think that, I don't know, maybe next year we'll be hoping. My only thing, no, we'll talk about that later. So rebuttal.
Your only thing? You have an only thing?
I have an only thing.
No, I think it looks like an iPad app, and I think the iPhone app looks like an iPhone app. And my gripes are smaller, like where certain interactions just don't work the way I want them to work, because that's how other iOS apps function.
Yeah, I agree. It doesn't.
But for the most part, I mean, it does what it needs to do.
It doesn't do this type of stuff where it pops a window over things.
It certainly does, actually. It most certainly does.
I'll show you.
Well, I was just doing it on mine.
I know.
And I know it does.
But even the way things.
So if you hit @to_me.
Go.
Yeah, but you're in the sessions.
No. Watch. Look at this filter. And we won't get too deep into this, but when you hit the filter, this in the Salesforce, in the iPad app iOS, would have been a pop-up to allow you to filter things.
Hit the Chatter.
Okay.
And then hit like @to_me or something.
Let it load first.
Dead air.
So,
crash.
Okay.
All right, forget it. Not worth it.
But is it?
It's so much better than last year.
It's better than last year, but is it as high as they could have gone? Do you feel like they missed the boat a little bit?
No, I feel like for something that is going to really be used for 4 or 5 days, I think they did a nice job.
For that, it's fine. I just have the Chatter app, and so I just wish it would have been like that. I wish they'd taken all the cues from that, rebranded it. Even if they just rebranded Dreamforce and allowed you to log into the Dreamforce portal with that app, I would have been happy, because that thing has everything I want in it. Anyway, but it doesn't have the maps and the social stuff, I know. So anyway, all right. Other things, Dreamforce. Well, a little bit of little weather news, because Hurricane Irene is heading up the East Coast. Now, if you're not from the East Coast, this doesn't matter to you a lick.
Yeah.
But a lot of us are from the East Coast, and we're all flying out either now or next week. I've already heard people tweeting me saying that they're
changing
canceled.
their flights
changing
earlier.
their flights. Our flights are on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're stalking us, you can come to the airport and pick us up.
We're missing some stuff. But, oh well.
Yeah, I forgot why we did go out on Monday. There was a reason. There was stuff we wanted to do.
I don't think there was a great reason. It was just the thing starts Tuesday, sort of.
Yeah.
But
last year we went out, I think,
Monday.
a day early.
Last year we went out a few days early.
Because it was Sunday.
There was Sunday.
Right.
So we went out on Saturday.
Right.
And Sunday we watched football.
That's true. All right. So, I mean, Irene's coming.
The East Coast is getting hammered with these. I felt an earthquake.
We have earthquakes.
We had an earthquake here in New York City in Times Square. My building was shaking.
I just came across the wire. volcano just erupted in
No
Albany,
way.
Massachusetts. Yep, volcano.
Albany, Massachusetts.
Albany, New York.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I think there probably is an Albany, Massachusetts,
there probably
but
is. Albany, New York.
less known.
So, for all you out, stay safe.
Yes, stay safe. Wear your rain gear.
Don't travel. I mean, that's the big. I'm just hoping that here's what I'm hoping, that the backlog of people who basically can't fly from Saturday night to basically Sunday night, maybe Monday morning. Hope that backlog isn't so big that it will
Tuesday flight.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday get
That would
blown
be
out.
Our Tuesday flight cannot get canceled.
Although we do have someone coming up from Florida, one of our
from
associates from Miami. So this hurricane's not even close to Miami.
Be there by himself.
He'll be there by himself.
Take care of it, bud.
So if you need to talk to someone, there will be someone at the booth regardless.
Right.
Alrighty. All right. So let's get the meat of this.
The Arkus at Dreamforce.
Oh yeah, that's sort of we got
skip that one.
You're
not looking at your wave properly.
I am looking at my Google Wave, and I was just going down.
But
let's do Arkus at Dreamforce. So
right.
before predictions.
Predictions is like the meat.
It is the meat.
Like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 predictions.
So let's talk about Arkus at Dreamforce. So we're going to be there. We've been talking about this every week. We have a booth. Booth 30. Or I or the people who shall not be mentioned might be there, or will be there, guaranteed.
Where you can actually meet them.
You can meet anybody,
talk to them and shake their hands.
And you can figure out who's who. You'll be able to meet us. You will be able to come talk to us. And if you are you will be able to witness or look at the snowball. If that really makes any sense to you.
We'll have the snowball there, and if someone wants to do a little interview, get on the pod. We might do
that. Yes. And what else? And if you're coming to pick up your T-shirt for the T-shirt contest, why don't we talk a little bit about what you're going to experience for the T-shirt contest? So we'll talk about this every podcast, but basically it is the same contest we ran last year, except for we have a booth now, so you can come find us. But the T-shirt contest is we have a cool T-shirt called the Safe Harbor T-shirt. You have to do a couple things, but basically all the information's in the Dreamforce app online. You can go to the group called the Arkus T-shirt contest, join it, and all the instructions, all the things you have to do, which is basically a couple things that take 2 minutes, are there. So I'm not even going to talk about it. Even a picture of what the T-shirt looks like is in there. But we only have a limited number, so first come, first serve. So show up when you can. We'll be manning the booth the whole time, and we will know who you are when you arrive, and you'll have to tell us the secret word. We have a secret word last week, which I'm not repeating.
Nope. Gotta go listen to last week's pod.
And we have a new secret word that I'm going to say this week.
Are you gonna do it now?
I'm gonna say it now because I think everybody's waiting for the predictions anyway.
Go ahead.
All right. So the Dreamforce T-shirt contest secret word number 2
is
duck.
Now.
Yes.
I asked you why before we started recording this,
yes.
And you said, no, I'm not telling you why. I'm going to wait until the podcast. And I don't get it. I don't get duck.
Say it. What's the first one? You
Dodge, duck. Very well.
Got it?
You got me again. You got me last week.
What would be the next one?
Dodge, duck. I don't know.
Dive.
But
you don't even know what I'm referencing?
No, I actually don't.
All right, you look it up. You're gonna go, here, tweet to Justin when you figure it out. If you go dodge, duck.
All right, you're making hand signals.
Yeah,
but that doesn't translate.
It does translate. They're all laughing. Everybody on the podcast listening.
That's what this is for. It's entertainment.
Mostly at you.
That's fine.
Okay.
It's for entertainment.
These are entertainment purposes.
This is entertainment.
This is not professional.
I'm hoping you're entertained.
Okay. So that is the second word is duck.
Duck.
All right. Now, let's get to our Dreamforce predictions. Do you actually have them?
By the way.
Oh, wait. We forgot to mention.
I'm speaking.
Yeah, we forgot to mention that.
I said last week, I'm speaking at the I Love Permission Sets Welcome to Profiles 2.0, something like that. It is an extremely popular session.
Yep.
Stats came out yesterday that it is the 16th most popular out of 526 sessions.
Wow.
There are over 800 people registered to go see the session, and I guess the room we're in holds 1,500 because there are still 700 some odd spots available. I don't even know what room we're in. It must be like one of the big like overflow rooms or something.
It's interesting because Winter 12 sandbox notices came out yesterday.
That's right, and perm sets are GA.
Yeah, and so permission sets are.
I'm so ingrained.
Perm sets.
Perm sets.
So if you want to learn anything about it, go to the session. Justin's going to be speaking, and the product manager's going to be there.
Adam
right?
Torman will be there.
Shout out. Yep. Friend of the podcast.
Adam Torman will be there. He will also be demonstrating some things, so you'll get a really good in-depth look. I will be talking about how to implement permission sets because we've done it.
Will you be showing the Excel sheet of Glory?
I will be showing a snippet of our methodology, which is part of an Excel sheet that we built out to help actually do this migration to permission sets. Yep. It's not really a migration, just a shift.
Right, it's a shift. A seismic shift.
It is a big shift, though. It's a different way of thinking about permissions. It'll be fun.
Yeah, and
show up. It's great.
It'll be good. All right. Anything else about the Dreamforce for Arkus? The Arkus stuff at Dreamforce?
No, I think we're ready to do some predictions.
Let's do some predictions.
Let's do it.
Go. Give me. So
first?
How many are we doing?
I have 6.
Okay. Well, give me 6. I have like 2.
All right. Well, I know one of yours, and you know one of mine.
Oh, is it mine?
No, I made sure not to do one of yours.
Okay.
So my first prediction.
I might only have 1.
My first prediction.
Okay.
So do you want me to not do this one?
No, yeah, go this. Wait, as long as it's not mine.
My first one, which is not yours.
Yep.
Salesforce knowledge will be set free.
Oh, that's not only a prediction. That's a great idea.
I know.
And I know it's a great idea because I posted to the Idea Exchange, I think, after the first keynote.
Salesforce knowledge needs to be free. It is
so you're actually predicting that it's going to happen.
That's right.
I don't think it is.
I'm predicting that it will happen. Okay. Now, on a scale of
give it
how sure
confidence.
I am, 0% to 100%?
Confidence scale.
10%.
Oh.
Not very sure about this one.
Okay.
But they demonstrate it a whole lot.
Right.
And I don't feel like there's enough of a disclaimer that says, by the way, you have to pay more for this when they demo it.
Right.
So, and it's like a pretty hot thing when they demo it. It demos really well. And
here's why I think it's not going to be set free soonish.
I know why, but go ahead.
Oh, well, okay. I just think because we asked somebody about this, and we asked, I think, the product manager last year. Was product manager? Is he product manager?
No, product manager of Chatter.
Of Chatter. But he talked about knowledge?
Yeah, we asked, like, why is Chatter free and why is knowledge pay? And basically he was like, well, you can really easily measure the ROI of knowledge.
As people who do, Arkus plug here, but we do a lot of call center work.
Right.
And call centers, and we've done tiny call centers to massive call center stuff, all in Salesforce and lots of customization, blah, 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 end of plug. But what we know is that when you're talking about calls, time on a call, time looking up a call, it's very measurable. Like literally, because you know how much you pay for the person, you know how many you get, you know how long they do it. So the ROI number is like, it's like A plus B divided by C, co-divided, and you can go quickly. So we know when we've taken call centers and brought them from like 9 minutes of a call down to 3 minutes partially by implementing a Salesforce solution, that we know that's huge, because you can say, well, because I can take that amount of time, whatever that 6 minutes is, and times salaries and whatever to come out with what I'm saving. So knowledge, if you can prove that knowledge is the thing, as opposed to solutions versus knowledge, which is interesting. Your blog
post has gotten hit a few times, and people have asked us about it. Like, hey, this is interesting. You guys sort of took Salesforce solutions and didn't turn it into knowledge by far, but made it far more useful using some heavy customization.
And I think on a large scale, that's probably very good. On a small scale, that probably wouldn't be worth the money to do it.
For a large scale implementation, you can sink some money into supercharging solutions. And
so if you're going to predict that they're going to be free, then I'm going to put a side prediction on top of that prediction that say if they make it free, they're going to release a migration tool for it.
Oh, they should do that.
Yeah, I know. Well, if they're going to make it free, they can't say it's free, and then you're just,
you're stuck with free solutions or free knowledge.
Right.
All right, so you go.
My second prediction, I don't know if this is one of your predictions, we are going to see a demo of integrated DimDim.
Wow.
It's going to be a fully integrated. You're going to show. Here's what it's going to look like.
I don't have that as one of my predictions.
You're going to log in. You're going to go to a meeting, an event, and you're going to click set a meeting, and it's going to be a checkbox. And this is all sort of prediction / please. Although Dim when we used it a year and a half ago wasn't very good. Oh, by the way, for those who are kind of newer to the podcast, friends of the podcast, Dim was a online conferencing company, a competitor to...
It was a small go-to WebEx live meeting, right. Just a small version.
But they bought them,
right?
Almost a year ago.
Salesforce purchased them,
right? More?
Yeah, it was less than a year ago. It was after last year's Dreamforce.
Okay,
I think we looked it up just so that we knew it was in January. I think.
So, but I think they're gonna. It's about time. We're getting to the point not where they release it, but they're gonna show it.
Do you feel like this
database.com isn't released and they showed it in December?
Do you feel like Dim is more of a customer service thing, or more of a sales thing, or just a holistic? It's going to be prevalent thing. I feel like it's more of a service thing.
I think it is a service thing,
like a call center. Let's hop on this thing. Boom, click it. Boom, it opens. But you can see the person's screen. It records it.
Every salesperson I've ever known uses GoTo and WebEx religiously.
Yep.
So I think it's good for thing. I think it's much better for sales. It is to know that it's included, and you literally click a button, like because we use WebEx and GoTo, and we have ways of integrating them. We've integrated them okay, a click or two away, but. Man, if it was just straight up right in there and worked, I would love if it was able to potentially record it. Let me go back to it. All the stuff that you want to have come back, right? Not just the connection, but all that. So I think we're going to see a demo, full demo, and I think they're going to say released
sometime
spring 12th.
Yeah, I don't think they do that. They just say coming out soon.
Okay.
All right. I have a lot of these, so you only have 2?
I'll make them up as I go.
Okay.
Just like I do with
everything. My next one's also a demo. I predict that during one of the keynotes, we will see a demo of the Toyota social network, and there will be a car on the stage. A double prediction. We will see the social network, and we will see a Prius on the stage.
Will they show the full movie, or they just show clips of the movie?
No, I want to see a demo.
Of the social network.
Oh, the Toyota social network. I said the Toyota social network.
Oh, okay. I just thought it was social network.
No.
Oh.
Sidebar, I was eating dinner the other night on the Upper West Side, sitting outside of the table, and Jesse Eisenberg just happened to pull up on a bike. Yeah. He was just sitting right next to me for about 20 minutes doing nothing. And my girlfriend and I kept looking over like, is it him? Is it him?
Jesse Eisenberg, not a friend of the podcast.
Not a friend of the podcast, but part of the social network. Anyway, I still think we will see a demo of the Toyota social network, and there will be a car on the stage.
Wow. It's a good prediction.
Yeah. I want to see that thing work.
Yeah, no, I'd like to see it.
I don't want to see it hooked up to the car, the whole deal.
Right.
All right, your turn.
This is my big one.
Yeah, I know you had a big one.
This is my big one. My big one is
one that we both wanted, but you called it.
Prediction is, and I sort of said it before, so I'm re-predicting. They will announce I guess it's 2 things. I guess I should break them up.
Go ahead, break them up. That way you have more, because I have 4 more.
Okay, I'm going to break up 1. Mobile is going to be free.
Full mobile.
Full mobile.
Mobile Lite goes away.
Mobile Lite goes away. Just like mobile was. You used to pay for any mobile, there was no mobile free, and then it went to mobile, and then they've added on things. I think they're just going to say adoption is everything, mobile is everything, custom is everything, mobile goes free.
So mobile,
I actually think knowledge won't, but mobile will.
The unlimited mobile, do a config, custom objects, add things, free.
Yep, free.
Fair enough. All right, my next one is that the chatter follow limit will be raised.
This is not a prediction.
Yes, it is. These are things that they announce on the stage. And we have this feature that people are upset about. That's not a good prediction. The chatter follow limit will be raised. Not sure when, but they will raise it from 500 to 2,500. I'm calling numbers.
Oh, you're calling numbers? 2,500? Okay. I mean, it's a good enough. Yeah, I think they'll.
Well, if they're going to be like, hey, you're going to roll out this new Toyota social network, you can roll out and talk to people and use chatter as your back end on database.com and roll out and build Facebook and You know, well then I've got to be able to follow more than 500 things because there's plenty of Facebook people who have way more than 1,000 friends.
Right.
So that's one of my predictions.
I have 1,001.
Go on.
All right, my next one is following the same theme of my previous one.
Go on.
Is that I think that they're, along with my second prediction, my third prediction is that they are going to launch a brand new, fully rebuilt, ground up, although I don't know how much code they do or do not reuse, mobile application for the BlackBerry, iPhone, and iPad. I would almost say that they're going to focus a ton on the iPad on it because, I mean, it's just the most amazing device, and everybody, it's like you can't stop talking about it. So, and here's the thing.
Are you including Android or not?
No, because we've already heard the news of Seismic doing Android stuff. Showing how long it took them to get the chatter thing out there for Android. I think they're going to let a third party do that. I think they're going to focus on what they consider the big bucket. So BlackBerry, iPhone, iPad. But here's the thing. I think it's going to be universal. I think it's going to be a brand new one. And my only and the backing up of this prediction, not only because I want it deeply, but there's been absolutely no releases for the mobile space forever. When was the last update, other than when they turned off chatter inside of mobile, which was a flip of a switch as a configuration change? When is the last mobile release that had any new functionality that you can remember?
I can't.
Yeah, can't. Nothing. So
No.
either they've decided to give up on mobile.
No.
Don't think so. Or they've been working their tookus off to get from wherever they were. Because that app, while it works, it still feels a little bit dated. It feels
the missing
behind.
thing is the iPad. I mean, it just totally is missing.
So what I think they say, here's what I think is going on in the boardroom. They're like, okay, we clearly have a problem here. I think the architecture of what they built is not sustainable. So I think they took what they did in the chatter app and they said, let's build on this foundation. They're going to build a universal app because obviously they have an iPad app for chatter. They're going to build a universal app. It's going to work on iPhone, iPad. And BlackBerry. It's going to be all that in a hat. I think it will limit some of the stuff though. I think, like chatter, it won't work offline. So I think people are going to be like, oh, that's kind of a bummer, but it's going to have so much of the nice features.
It is a bit of a bummer because the cool part about, like, this was back when we worked at that large institution, we would always say, well, they were a BlackBerry shop. You have it offline. And same with the iPhone. You have it offline, and you have it.
Uh-huh.
That's really a good thing to have, but you're right. They're probably going to a more ubiquitous connection.
I think
thinking.
And think about where people were 5 years ago in terms of connection, where they are now. 5 years ago, you were offline a ton. Now, you're really not offline.
The only time I'm
much.
offline is when
Subway.
I'm sitting here in this office, because although I have Wi-Fi here in this office, and the subway.
Subway. That's it. And on a plane, and even planes.
You can get the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I mean, so it's getting the amount of cases that you don't have Wi-Fi or cellular is getting so small that I feel like they're going to focus on feature function and not that.
And if you're going to walk out on stage and say, I run my business on these things, then the apps have to be
I also think they'll leave the other app. So I don't think they're going to replace it. I think they're going to leave it. So
what other app?
The old mobile app. So they'll phase it out. They'll give it a year.
Oh, yeah.
Because
you have to give the big enterprises time to
get off
of it and push out the install to however many people they have. All right, so good prediction. I like that one. That was the one that we talked about together. All right, this is a small one. There will be a demonstration of a recruiting app that took only days to build.
Oh, come on. That's funny.
They always do that. Here's this recruiting app, and we used, and it's really more like here's this integration between Heroku and Amazon where we're storing the PDFs, and Google App Engine, which is handling something, and Salesforce and database.com, and we built this in 4 days. And it like you could take a picture of a badge and it puts their resume somewhere, and we'll see one of those.
Okay.
All right. Wait, should I keep going?
No, I got another one.
Oh, go ahead.
We Arkus, for Dreamforce, will launch our first product.
That's a prediction?
That's a prediction. I don't know if it's going to happen.
That's a fact.
That's a prediction. That's a good one.
Okay, fair enough. All right, I got two more. One's kind of another one like the previous one, and the next one's a bigger one.
Well, give me the silly one quickly.
I'll give you the silly one. They will make a big deal about the same stuff as last year that has not been launched yet. Dreamforce, Siteforce, Heroku, although Heroku's out there.
Yeah, companies.
VMforce, Siteforce, a bunch of those things that database.com, RemedyForce, like we will see all that stuff and it will be made a big deal of again because there was a short time frame and I don't think a lot of it's come really to fruition.
Yep. I think that's actually a big. If I want to throw
safe harbor.
If I want to throw a funny thing out there, I'll say my funny prediction. My funny prediction is they're gonna show all that stuff, and then they're gonna show a bunch of stuff that won't come out for another 6 to 9 months.
Yeah,
that we're talking in CloudForce New York again. It's a little bit, I love me some Salesforce, but if I'm gonna just give myself a little street cred by having, I kind of crapped on the on the Dreamforce app. If I'm gonna give myself some more cred, I'll say this is a very 1992 Microsoft thing to do, which is that you do what's called a smoke screen or a vaporware thing.
Yeah.
Where you get up on
Smoke
stage
and mirrors.
at a huge conference, you do huge press releases, and you say, "We've got this cool stuff. It's here. It's coming."
We announce it.
Windows 98 is coming, or Windows 2000, or Windows 95. And Microsoft did this for years. They would just announce, and literally years later, it would not have been there. And I love Salesforce, but I wish they'd get away from this model of pre-announcing stuff. Like, a month or two is fine. You want to,
No, Chatter was done right.
Yeah,
Chatter was done right. They announced it at Dreamforce, and it was available in pilot like 2 months later.
Yeah.
And pretty much anyone who wanted could get into the pilot.
But you almost forget what they announced. That isn't good. Like, database.com, seriously?
And Siteforce, that was exciting to see that.
Oh, drag and drop, build this stuff. Come on. They just, and I get it. The limited thing, they want to show stuff. They probably get caught in a situation where they don't have a lot of stuff to show.
I imagine for Siteforce, that particular instance, there's got to be a pilot at this point. I'm pretty sure there is. If you have a use case or a business case to get onto it, you could probably get yourself onto it. But, you want to see something that they show as, they show it as a polished product. Yeah. They're like, here's your marketing person.
Yep.
And no more coding to do your website, and you know what? It's almost a year later, and I don't have that.
Yep.
So
speaking of
that's
websites,
part of my prediction is that they will make a big deal about some of this stuff again because they have to remind us about it.
Yep.
Remind us.
Remind us.
I only have one more. If you have another one, go for it. Go for it.
I just kind of did. Go for it. Yours. Go for it.
Well, we've been alternating, and that one was mine.
Yeah, I said a lot.
You did say a lot. All right. So my last one. It's kind of a big deal. And I feel like this is one of those Siteforces from last year. Like they're going to show us something, and we're not going to get it for another year.
Okay, what is it?
But I feel like it's brewing.
I'm literally on the edge of my seat.
Chatter for portals.
Okay.
Chatter for portals. If you have a portal out there,
my excited meter just went to like 5.
Well, if you have a portal out there that does customer portal or a partner portal, either one. And you have an ideas community and an answers community. Well, it just kind of makes sense to be able to have Chatter embedded within that. And if you have a partner portal out there and you have salespeople working on your behalf, and you got opportunities that they're working, well, it kind of makes sense that they would be able to engage in Chatter with you.
Right.
I feel like this is coming, or at least going to be announced. It's something that I feel like has to come. So I feel like this is the right time for them to announce it and show it and maybe not have it work for another year.
Another year?
Well, it's one of those. But I feel like that's going to be a big announcement.
That would be big. Again, my gut is the amount of people who use Partner Portal and Customer Portal are very slim.
It makes a very compelling case to use their technology for any community site that you would want to build.
Here's what I think would be a better here's what a better or fun prediction. It's not my other prediction, but it's just one.
So now you're doing 2.
I'm doing another one.
Wow.
I'm doing the double up. But this is one I just thought of because if we're talking about going free,
do it.
If they did Customer and Partner Portal, Customer Portal really, Customer Portal free, Customer Portal licenses,
Customer Portal Lite
free. Or Customer Portal Lite, or something that allows people to get into Customer Portal for a lower price point, or a $0 price point. Because right now, again, we talk to a lot of clients, and there's always that kind of like, oh, I want to allow I heard you this morning talking to a prospect. I want to allow my people to log in and do this, and we go, well, email, and we have to go through this whole thing about authenticated users and sites and Force.com and blah blah blah, and it's like this whole mucky muck.
It's just a very difficult pricing model to even understand, because there's different licensing schemes for the portals, and there's like portal manager, sites authenticated user, named user, or you can purchase it by concurrent logins.
Right.
So like it's just a murky zone.
It doesn't.
It does need to be streamlined.
It doesn't help them.
No, it needs to be
there's
streamlined.
there's no way to allow
but
people.
Free is like, oof, that's giving away a lot. It really is.
It could be limited functionality. It could be exposure to.
It'd be like Chatter Plus.
Yeah, something like that. It's just to expose enough so people go, that's great, and get a sense of it. But I tell you, that would be huge. Here's my real prediction.
What's your next? Yeah,
my real prediction.
This is our last one.
They're going to.
Who's they?
Salesforce.
Okay.
Who else?
I don't know. Us.
We're going to do something awesome.
I don't know.
Salesforce is going to announce. They're kind of going to take. They're gonna pull back the sheet, the curtain. No, I hate that expression. It always reminds me of some very large person with like a hairy.
Mark is very connected
body,
to Japan,
and he's going to pull it in the command. It just it's never
very Japan connected company though.
So I think they'll pull back the curtain and they're going to tell us and demo and show. Although I think it's going to be hard to demo and show. They're going to basically tell us what they've been working on for, I think that's been the last 2.5 years, which is not the core that's in the core, like core functionality, but like the core to Salesforce, the technology behind it. I think we've talked about this before. I don't know if we actually know this or are we just predicting this, but what do you think?
We are predicting this.
We're predicting it. We don't know it. Have we talked to anybody
this.
about this? Or if we have, we're under.
No,
we can't talk about it.
We don't.
Okay.
This is something that you and I have talked about, and it stemmed from the True to the Core group in the Dreamforce app and the True to the Core idea on the Ideas Exchange, which you should go take a look at if you haven't already. That there's a lot of core functionality that is been left behind.
But this is not what I'm saying.
Oh, that's not what you're saying? I think it leads into what you're saying.
I think it's what it leads into saying, because I think that is a symptom of Salesforce spending the last 2 to 3 years rebuilding their core architecture.
The actual core.
The actual core. Not functional core.
Right, so that they can do
the functional
core stuff.
Absolutely. I'll kin it to...
These are all predictions, by the way. Yeah. We don't know this.
Safe harbor.
This is,
safe harbor.
We don't even need to... We don't know. Like, this is what we think. Why there's not many...
We're not broadcasters.
Well, this is why we think there's not, multiple contacts to one activity.
Many who.
Things like that. The many who, the many whats, or whatever it is.
Many who. That would be good.
Well, I think it's actually already on the Ideas Exchange as, coming next year.
Oh,
really? They're actually really working on it.
So I think that's what they're going to announce, and they're going to make a big deal about it, because I think the true core to the people, and the true to the core is people are saying, listen, you kind of, you're putting out these releases, but you're putting out Chatter stuff, and you're putting out Outlook stuff, and you're really not focusing in on the functionality. And I think what they're going to say is the reason we haven't been doing that is because we've been rebuilding it. Again, I was going to make the analogy of the move from Apple's OS 9, which was a huge, they had OS 7, 8, 9, and then when they went to OS 10, they rebuilt it on an entirely new platform, Unix platform they bought, and it was like this huge thing. But it took them years to build that. So I think this is going to be that thing. And it's going to be seamless to everybody, but I think it's going to have huge ramifications going forward.
And when the True to the Core people are really, I think at this point people consider Chatter and Outlook, those are core things. What they mean by stop doing these things are the things that have really missed badly. Opportunity genius.
Yep.
And that was something just doesn't,
I use it every day.
We don't even have it turned on. The slide builder and content. The sexy demo stuff that I know nobody uses.
But you can't associate an event to two people.
We talk to so many clients and nobody uses you demo content to them and they're like, here's content, and you're like, here's content, and here's me creating a new slide out of these other decks. And they're like, oh, that's so cool, and nobody uses it.
No.
And the opportunity genius, where find other ones like this.
Opportunities, right?
Yeah, there are a lot of those kinds of features that are tech-ons, add-ons, things that they probably thought were very useful and they demo really well.
Right.
But I still can't associate 3 contacts to one meeting.
Right.
I'm having a meeting and I've got some contacts, and I want to be able to associate 3 of them.
Yeah.
Let me do that. That's cool.
That's something that everybody asks for. It's not sexy.
Yeah. No
it's
one's asking for the opportunity genius or the slide builder and content. Not to say that those, I mean, we don't use them, but not to say that the slide builder isn't cool or the drag a contact into the calendar from a list view thing isn't cool.
Yeah.
But nobody does that. Nobody uses that.
Right. It's great. Well, I think that, and the reasons they don't use that, I mean, because of the core functionality. You know, we probably talked about this a little bit on the podcast, but the functionality of the calendaring system within Salesforce is in some ways very good, but it is not on par with the rest of the world. It doesn't send out meeting requests. Close. It doesn't. There's stuff that it just doesn't do that you would think, boy, you could have put, for the amount of time you put into this, you certainly could have put that.
And for the amount of time that they put into the scheduler thing, the cloud they could have just made a better calendar.
It's little stuff. Anyway, so I think that's the big prediction. I think they're going to do a big splash about it. It's going to be hard to show because it's like, look, this code was crappy, but I think they'll do numbers. If I were betting off, or I were someone else,
that's a Parker Harris demo there.
I think you come up and you say, here's how many lines of code we had. This is the kind of thing, and this is what we looked at. This is what we had to go through, and they kind of show the end. And you
kind of how they presented Chatter 2 years ago.
Yeah, but Chatter has you could see it. You
see the back end. But before that they presented like this is part of the core architecture of our system. It is built into the groundwork.
Right.
It's one of the rows in the platform stack slide, which that's another one. They will show the platform deck slide with lots of chiclets in it. And hopefully there won't be more than 6 clouds this time.
Yeah, let's limit the clouds. Limit the clouds.
We sound like a little bit of haters. We're not hating.
No.
We're not hating. Well, we love us some Salesforce. We're just being a little critical.
I'm sure that if you went and asked my wife for the top 10 things that she wants to change about me, she could rattle them off the top of her list.
I could rattle off 38 right now.
Right. I think the point is that when you're very close to something or someone, you know their shortcomings. It's not to say that we're going to pick up Arkus and move to Sugar CRM, but it's certainly to say here's things that they should focus on. And this is a company.
I was actually thinking about moving to Siebel.
Siebel, you think so? So this is a company that I think thrives on the community, and we are part of the community, and our feedback is part of the community. And we have a Google Wave that has all the ideas in the idea exchange that we have voted on, and we keep putting in there, and it basically tells everybody else in the company, go vote on these, because it's like, let's get these things moving and just show our support.
See, we do that in Wave. A lot of other people are like, why don't you use Chatter for that? Wave's a good place for that. It keeps it in one place. Yeah. Posterity. See, Wave is awesome.
It would be fine for Google
Wave
Sheets.
Is awesome.
Yeah.
Salesforce. Go get Wave and do something with it.
All right. So some other little tiny news.
We got to get to our picks, right?
Let's do 2 other pieces of news.
All right, 2 more news pieces. This is a long pod.
Well, they're more Arkus news pieces.
Oh, okay.
But I think there's stuff that the friends of the podcast would like.
Friends of the podcast.
One is that, one is not. It was the App Exchange. The App Exchange is getting a little bit of an update coming today.
Yeah.
It hasn't launched yet, so go look at that. So, our App Exchange listings could be a little bit different.
Our service listing. So if you search for Arkus under services, you will find our service listing.
And just in time for that, we are going to be launching our new website.
Right.
So within the next day or 2. Before Dreamforce.
Before Dreamforce.
It might be done.
There will be a redesigned ArkusInc.com.
Yes, working on it diligently. But it's going to have some new features for you people who are listening to the podcast.
Yeah, some good community features.
This is why I was bringing this up.
This is a good thing.
So for each one of the things that we have never turned on is commenting.
Right.
It actually is built into the website, but I didn't like the way it was built in because
Me neither.
It just wasn't very social.
You also had to create a user on our website.
Or you make it anonymous, which is even worse.
Even worse.
So what we've done is implemented Discuss.
Yes.
So now on every post for the podcast, so every kind of news item for the podcast at the bottom, and the blog, you'll be able to go at the bottom. You'll be able to sign in with one of a million different.
Yeah. Sign in with your Facebook.
Twitter,
sign in with your Twitter.
Whatever. I think it has Google, has all of them. Discuss is the back end to it, and then basically be able to not only comment on it, but then comment and post it out to the different places. So it's a
Right.
great way, if you like something, you can post it out, you can comment on it. We'll post on it, so you can we'll then respond to it, so we'll be on there as well. So you kind of want to have a conversation with us about a podcast, you can do it there as well, and kind of in Twitter at the same time. I really like that as a feature.
Yeah, Discuss is great.
So that's sort of the big thing I want to tell the people who are the podcast people.
The people.
So that will be coming very soon. So look for it. There's design things, and there's other stuff in there. There's lots of other features, but that's the one I kind of wanted to bring up on the podcast. All right, let's get to our CloudFocus app pick of the week. We are 50 minutes into this podcast.
Wow, this is getting you on your plane. This is getting you to San Francisco.
Let's keep going for another 3 hours.
This is a good one because you want some meaty content for your flight.
Yep.
So this is it. All right. So I always go first with my CloudFocus app pick of the week. This is a Salesforce pick, not a Force.com Labs pick, but a Salesforce pick.
You're breaking like a streak of 1,000.
Yeah, no, I haven't picked a Force.com Labs pick in a while.
No,
I've been a little upset with
Mac OS 10 non-cloudy releases.
This is a cross-platform product released by Salesforce. And re-released. It's called Chatter Desktop. I'm sure you've heard of it.
What's that?
But it's been updated. Chatter Desktop has been updated, and I noticed it yesterday. Yesterday being Thursday, the 25th. It might have been that night or something the night before. But anyway, I noticed it, and I love it. It's got a new UI.
Yep.
You can... it's got a really nice look and feel as far as comment threads. It's got a sort, so you can sort by posts or post and comment, which I love.
Yep.
It's something that I wish the web app did, which is, if you comment on something that was originally posted 4 days ago, it gets lost because it doesn't repop that post to the top. Chatter Desktop does that. You can then filter on like @me, so anytime I'm mentioned. You can obviously find people and look at their followers. You can search. You can look at groups.
But your favorite
favorite feature is you can actually get to records in Chatter Desktop. So the last sort of tab thing on the left is looks like a briefcase or a portfolio. You can then in a drop down any of your chatterized, for lack of a better word, objects. You can click on them, and it will bring up a list of all of those records that have chatter on them, and you can chatter on them. It's odd because it shows 0. It doesn't update, but once you click on it, it will update it. Not for you?
No, I mean
that's weird because I'm looking at it right now. I see 27.
It does.
Things
how many see in invoices?
Invoices.
We track our invoices in Salesforce.
Well, 0.
I see 0.
0.
Yeah,
that's
but
weird.
you know that's not true.
I do know that's not true because I do follow our unpaid invoices.
Agreed. This is a really cool
maybe
app.
A little buggy, but I do see, like, for example, I see issues. I see 39.
I see other things, but I don't. So some of them I don't. So weird.
It's a great update.
It's a great update.
It really is. They did a good job with that.
It immediately makes me think, why is this in... And I know they have different products, and so... But every time they do something really cool for one of them, I'm always like, oh, why isn't that on the other one? So why isn't that on the web? So for the while, I loved the web because the web had a nice view, and I liked the way... Then Chatter Desktop I liked because it would pop stuff to the top.
I love the post... The sort.
Right.
The post or post and comment.
Yes.
Perfect.
Because when someone comments on something from 10 years ago,
that's right.
You want it to pop to the top.
It's got to pop to the top.
Right.
And unless you're getting email alerts, which, then you're getting alerted everywhere, and that sort of defeats the purpose.
The couple things about it that I think are strange.
Sure, there are some strange things.
If you turn on a notification,
yes,
it pops the notification. Great. But it also then brings the thing to the front of the screen. It brings the app to the front of the screen. So, which is super annoying.
Yeah, because that defeats the
purpose of a notification, right? Don't give me a piece of toast on the side and then bring the whole thing to my front. So I actually turn off notifications.
Me too. I never have that on.
So then I can just go check it when I want. Part of our whatever. So great. Yeah, it's a cool upgrade. If you haven't done it, I mean, it's free. It's whatever. You just open up your Chatter Desktop on your desktop.
Yeah, you
or
have
go
to
to your settings.
You have to update Adobe Air. It'll prompt you to do that. And then
for me, I
had to update that first, and then it updates Chatter Desktop. Because Chatter Desktop runs in Adobe Air cross-platform. We're sitting here on a Mac. You could be sitting on a PC. We're looking at the same piece of software. Chatter more and more is becoming. I mean,
almost a year now, and we use it more and more and more and more. I find myself in it more. I find myself at the end of the day, I'll go check email, and then I'll go check Chatter like it's an email. Like I actually go check it and say, oh, it's part of my kind of thing now.
Right.
All right. So my pick is it's a two-part pick. It is both a website and it is an iPhone, iPad, probably Android. Sorry if I don't know, but I don't. And it comes from travel, because I had a whole thing about traveling before the last Dreamforce. There's a good blog post on travel, and I picked all these things you should pack and all stuff. And I was thinking about redoing that, but I didn't. Actually, my new blog post.
I think you wrote a blog post about it already, didn't you?
Yeah, the old one. But I have a new one called Survival Tips, which will also be up today in the new website. Anyway, but I know for people who are traveling and maybe have to rearrange their flights because of Hurricane Irene or doing last minute flights, lots of places you can go to get plane flights and plane whatever. And I was looking for other places. Kayak. You can go to Google and type in. It'll give you like a listing. But sometimes just the way they view them is just, I don't know, it's just hard to read or something. So I found this one called Hipmunk.
Okay.
And I'm just trying to get the actual thing here. Yeah, it's called Hipmunk. It's interesting because its icon, or it's the user thing. The little icon is a chipmunk. So it's weird that it's Hipmunk. Whatever. Maybe they couldn't get one or the other. And what it does is, so the website's great. It's very basic. You go in, you say, I want to go from here to here, and this time or whatever, and go. And then it basically brings back this great big Gantt chart.
Oh, look at that.
Of showing all the different legs, the different airlines by color and by time. And what I love is that you can sort by a couple things. Length, you can sort by departure, and you can sort by agony.
Agony?
Which basically...
That is a neat little tab.
Which will give you the basics of like how much. And it'll show you which ones have Wi-Fi in them. It does a little Wi-Fi indicator.
Okay.
But basically you can kind of go, oh, okay, so you see the layover times. It's just a great way of, I don't know if it's redefining the world, but it's a great way of looking at flights.
And this is for purchasing flights?
Yeah, so this is a find a flight to purchase. And of course there's the pricing down one side, and you can do things like, come in on time.
Does this do like, that was neat. He was dragging the slider for the date
It's the type
range.
of thing that you expect to see in an iPad app.
Fair enough. Does this then take over and do like what Flight Plan does, so that you can then see? No.
This is only for
purchasing a last minute kind of.
This is for purchasing your flights. I'm going to fly to so I put in New York to Miami.
Right.
I'm actually going down to Miami for New Year's for a game down there. And so I can look and I go, oh, this one looks like early in the morning. I don't want to leave that early. I want to leave after 7. All right, so like American, that one's got a...
It's just a different way to view data, and it's a pretty neat little way to view.
And it looks exactly the same on the website. So this view, and it's just a really...
it's like a Flash website?
Yeah,
looks like
website,
it would be.
But it's a really, really nice... and here's your return flights. But I just love that it shows you the layovers, because the layover timing is good. It shows you the...
That does look good. That one has 2 layovers. You can very easily
see which ones you want to avoid.
Yeah, you could totally
I want this one.
Yeah, that's the one you want.
Select this leg.
Yes.
So it's like, and then select this leg, right? And then I'm like, there's my thing.
And then you can buy it?
Yeah, buy
credit card? How does it work?
No, it'll send you off to
pop you out?
To the
website of the provider.
Yep.
Neat.
Yeah, so a nice little app, a good travel app.
Very cool.
Definitely good for the iPhone, good for the iPad, and the website looks and feels the same. So what do I do when I'm going to go find a flight? So that's Hipmunk. All right, almost an hour-long podcast.
This is going to be our longest pod ever. Hopefully people don't get turned off from downloading it because they see it's an hour long.
Yeah, well...
But really, this is really for your flight.
Yeah, this is for your flight.
This is for your entertainment on your flight.
This is for your entertainment.
And you can watch that garbage movie that they have, or that rom-com that came out 6 months ago that you don't want to watch.
Well, you should put this on your on your iPhone
or your Android or your Zune player.
Someone was driving. They said they were going to listen to it. They were going to listen to it on the way there.
Okay.
Yep. So, all right. So again, the new blog and new website are at blog.arkusinc.com. That's ARKUSINC.
Hopefully, by the time you listen to this, it will be the new version.
It probably will, unless you have iTunes, because that will come instantly, and this might happen next couple hours. So we'll see. If you want to follow Arkus, it's twitter.com/ArkusInc, which is one of the things of the contest to win a t-shirt. Want to follow me, twitter.com/JasonMAtwood, and want to follow Justin here, twitter.com/JustEdelstein. We're also on Facebook, facebook.com/ArkusInc. And again, as mentioned, you want to subscribe. It's right there on the top of the blog. It says subscribe in iTunes. So you click that big iTunes logo-ish thing.
I love that thing.
And go right in there and subscribe to what's going on. Subscribe to the podcast. Again, come see us at Dreamforce.
Yeah, come say hello. We want to meet you guys.
Stop by. We would love to. If you just say friend of the podcast. If you say friend of the podcast, and then we might call you friend of the podcast next.
Yeah, we'll mention you by name.
We might,
again, if you really want, like if we're there, we might have that snowball ready. If you want to do an interview,
Justin will be
something
signing
like
autographs.
I'll be signing autographs.
Your new book, How to Podcast, and Why You Love to Podcast.
I'll be autographing iPad covers.
I'm a podcasting broadcaster.
Yes.
That'll be
That's the title of my book.
Yep. Good. So that's it. That's the end of this podcast. And we did make it over an hour.
Good.
So there you go.
We dragged that out.
That was important. And until we see you there or our next podcast, and if we don't see you at Dreamforce, enjoy the cloudy but hopefully not hurricane-like winds days.